Hi all, my name's Tom, and some of you may know me. That's exactly how I started my very first video on the 2nd of July. And I can honestly say my family and myself are known by a great deal of people now. And we know a great deal of kind, generous people also, who came and stood with us, and those who sent all the messages of support and solidarity. And I thank them, because we owe a debt. Our family really does owe a debt to your kind actions, because you stopped something terrible happening, which was illegal, unlawful, and a crime. Okay, now this little video is going to be in 3 parts. The first part, I'm going to tell you how the family is, and the second part is for those who couldn't make it, exactly what happened, because the papers were slightly confused in a few things, not many, and a very important document I'd like you all to see. And thirdly, I'll apologise now for it, but I'm going to have a rant at the people that tried to damage my family. Okay, we're still in our home. No sign of the bailiffs. We haven't heard from the bank or the court. And that's down to you kind people and Mr. Ebert. At 5 o'clock in the morning people started to arrive, maybe before, but they continued to arrive up to the appointed time on the 23rd of July at 9 p.m. when the bailiffs were going to come and possess my home. Family home. It was approximately 350 at 9 o'clock, and the bailiffs didn't arrive. As some of the papers or media said, the 90-minute standoff never took place because they simply were scared to come. And I'll tell you also there's 2 reasons to that, and not their reason. They also said in the papers that, well, very few did, but some did, said it was a mob, but majority said it was a protest. It wasn't a protest. The people that came here on the 23rd was a group of people in humanity, in solidarity, in support of a family being terrorised by the bank, Bradford and Bingley, and also the courts. And these people that came were going to stop this because these people were criminals. Now, as far as the mob's concerned, that made me smile, that did. Let me explain what the mob looked like. You've seen some of the videos, but there was old people, there was young people, there was people in mobility scooters, there was toddlers, there was people on crutches, there was pregnant women, and there was babies in pushchairs. There was every walk of life there that day represented, and the bailiffs were scared of you. Maybe I would have set the toddlers on them. Well, their excuse was safety reasons. Totally ridiculous. Another reason they wouldn't come was Mr. Ebert, the forensic document investigator, prepared some papers, and I was going to present these papers to the police so we could have the bailiffs arrested, and that would have been the proof that the documents that the bailiffs were carrying were fraudulent documents. And the reason why the police were here, because of a judge. I asked the judge a few weeks before the attempted eviction that if he sent anyone, it should be only under the proper rules of court. And he took umbrage. And he put in my file that I'm high risk. Once again, total nonsense. You should know better. But he just didn't like being asked to do his job. And there's something further on in this video that will come to that. On the 23rd of July, something extraordinary happened here. Some of the people realised it and some didn't. Now our bungalow's elevated and I could see everything from 5 o'clock in the morning until it all came to an end. When people arrived first of all, they were in their normal mood, and it was just, this was a serious occasion because there's a family home going to be taken. But as the hours trundled on, people got happy, they were smiling, they jovial, and it became almost a party atmosphere. Extraordinary. There's people notified me afterwards, days afterwards, on different forums that it's gone on as well, that they don't know what happened. They are happy, they are smiling, they feel empowered. They did something that day that they can't explain. Well, I will help them with that. They did something good. They did what every human being should do to their fellow man and woman. Support them. And that feeling is the best feeling in the world. So, you deserve that feeling, and you deserve more than I can express. Well, anyway, this feeling did grow, and it's all around the world now, and it may be due to the thousands and thousands of support notices and emails and letters and wishes from America, New Zealand, Europe, and this islands of ours. And that added to the electric atmosphere for a short period of time. Some people who are religious said it's like the burning light of goodness coming out of people's souls. Well, that's probably true, because where there's light, darkness has to retreat, and of course bailiffs like to operate in the shadows. They don't like light, so they had to go away. As well as Mr. Ebert's, the actual feeling on Fern Chase was spectacular. A miracle. There you go, there's a caption for you. Miracle on Fern Chase. And if I can manage to use a movie video on Microsoft, I'll put that up as a caption. If you don't see it, I didn't do it, I couldn't do it. So, another miracle amazingly happened. The press. Now, you know the press is normally a negative body. They cover tragedies and murders, rapes, all the evil that happens in the world, but not the 23rd of July or the 24th or the 25th, and even today. And this is 7 days after the event. They covered it a good feel factor. Now, how many do you see that? And I have to take my hat off to them for covering that, because a lot of other people felt good when they read that, and it's down to the press as well. So they aided all of us, and I thank them. Oh, by the way, the hat, that's orders of management. Sue, my wife, says I've got to wear the hat because it's our lucky hat. And on the subject of the press, I'd like to invite them, should the bailiffs come back, shine your light on their paperwork. That is going to be very interesting. Let's see if they show the warrant to you. They don't show it to the people that they try to take the home from, or the courts, and you'll see it's all fraudulent, and we can prove it. And there's several people I should mention, especially little young Becky, the landlady of our local pub. She's 9 months pregnant, she was up and down the hill helping people, giving them this and that, and she opened up very early in the morning to allow people to come into the pub to use the toilets, and then when it was lawful in her licence, gave them refreshments. So thank you very much, Becky, and my family, thank you as well. And there's another group of people, most unusual. I never knew them before. I heard of them. Their reputation goes before them. They're called Anonymous. A group came here. Now, I was the opposite of Anonymous that day. They all got masks on, but I was standing there and everybody could see who I was, and you all know who I am now. And I found out why they wear the masks, those Guy Fawkes masks. It's because they were representing the anonymous people without a voice. Similar people to me and my family that don't have that voice. They were here to stand up for them and show their support and represent all the things that that's good. So I can only judge people by how I find them, and they were very polite, very courteous, and a nice bunch of men and women. And I thank you for coming, and the press should take more notice of what you actually do, not what they think you're going to do. So, I think I've covered most of the things that happened that day, and you've heard that my family and myself are still in our home. Although I'm hearing evictions going on just before I started making this, which is atrocious. Now to the very serious point, and if you can all sign this, it's a petition. Now this petition is unlike any petition that I've ever heard about or ever witnessed in, I believe, the world. This petition is to ask or require a group of people to do their jobs properly, and you will be amazed. I've got to put these on. Right, this petition is for, the name of the petition is Petition in the Name of Justice and Fairness. That's something my family didn't get. We got injustice, and we certainly didn't get fairness from the banks. We, the undersigned, require that Her Majesty's Courts and Tribunal Service carry out their duties in compliance with the civil and criminal procedure rules. Do your job. That's what this petition is about. But I'll go into it in a bit of depth. I won't read out all the rules that they've got to keep to, but basically it covers these. All the said rules shall encompass all council tax liability orders, possession orders, matrimonial possession orders, and individual creditors, bankruptcy petitions against an individual. Now I could go on, and this covers all courts jurisdictions in civil and common law. And we love common law, and they hate it. Anyway, the possession orders covers them trying to steal your car or your house or even your children without a proper seal, without a signature from a judge in his proper handwriting in wet ink in blue. Okay? Because they don't do it, and we haven't seen one in probably 100 years. The other thing is bankruptcy, and everybody thinks that's all rich people. It's not. This is another tool in their toolbox, and this means £750 in debt, and they can make you bankrupt. And that means go after your property, steal your car, steal your house, and they'll sell it at the lowest price because they want the money quick, and you will have a great big hole and possibly not even a home a hole in your bank balance if you're still banking, but I suggest you look into that. And this is because they don't sign, stamp, they don't carry out the procedures properly. Now, this one is, I don't know a lot about this because it's council tax. And generally, Sue, my wife, dealt with this. And she must have struggled while I was ill to pay this. But in fact, I've just heard yesterday that Hounslow in London, there was 4,000 court cases for individuals going into court who didn't pay the council tax because they took away council tax benefits. I don't know about it, but I'm sure a lot of you do. Well, this is to stop the council putting out warrants, fake warrants, from their offices, or making fake courts with fake judges. These judges aren't judges, and they're putting people in prison. They're taking their liberty away, they're taking their property away, and it's a lot to do with property as well, because they love that. They love what you've got, and they'll take it. So, if you think that this petition, this is just a draft of it, is something that you think is good, and you can put your signature to stopping this crime, because if these crooks and criminals followed these rules, you wouldn't have called round to my home. But let's hope we can put them in jail. Now, we want to get over 1 million. Now, the signatures, that is. That's very achievable. And if it's finished, I will put the link at the bottom of this video. So click on it, sign it, tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your work colleagues, and tell them to do exactly the same. And we'd soon get 1 million, because it affects hundreds of thousands and millions of people. So, put your monogram on, please. Now, my rant. There's a certain character, 2 of them actually, but I'll talk about one. When that letter came in our family postbox that said it's an order for possession, my wife and family were devastated. And the person who's responsible is this man. How did he feel on that particular day? How many repossessions was he presiding over in that time? Did David Cameron take 1,000 houses that day, or maybe 5,000? Is that why the Chancellor's laughing at the money we've got? We can give this to our friends, the bankers, who's already got it, because both these characters are from banking families. And David Cameron's brother is a High Court barrister who put his face on television for the first time when it was televised. And I wonder how he got that job. The House of Commons is full of bankers, lawyers, solicitors, barristers, and there's a few other occupations, speculators. There's very few of us, so why do they call it Commons? Is it because they haven't got their lawyer to be made a lord or a sir yet? Well, it's our place, Mr. Cameron, and you are our servant, and you should be doing your job, and you are damaging the people that put you in your office, and you've damaged my family, and I will hold you responsible. You allow the courts to do what they can and what they can get away with, and they can do what they like because they change the rules, because they've written their own ones and ignored the ones that are put there for them to follow. Hence the petition to tell them to do their work properly. Then we'll come to the judges. Right, Mr. Cameron, look at the judges and look at the bank. You put especially Richard Lee Banks in control of Bradford and Bingley Asset Management. And if you didn't do it, it was your predecessor, the Labour Party, and they are just as bad. They presided over exactly the same criminals and supported them with their friends that are solicitors and bankers. Tony Blair, solicitor. His wife, solicitor, barrister. They are corrupt. And Tony Blair is dripping blood for what he did to our poor lads because of his friends, the bankers. Now, the judges who didn't allow me to have my day in court, you're criminals. You should be locked up and made an example of. I won't go much into you because you're not worth the words or the breath I've got. You damage people, but you know it. And then we come to Richard Lee Banks. Now this man was put in this position by whether it was the Labour or Conservative, and he has damaged thousands of people, and they're still doing it to this day. And children, people are taking their lives, Richard, and you're responsible. I've decided to do a little experiment with you. This is your God. Now this is so important to you. This is more important than flesh and blood, than a man or a woman. You hold that in the highest esteem. You bow to this. Well, look what I can do with your God. Do you see any blood? Did you hear any screams? You can't harm a bit of paper because it's just a bit. This petition is important. It's got value. You put that ahead of life, humanity. But you will get yours eventually. You should be locked up for the protection of the public. You are insane. If you think that is more important than my family, you took 25 years of hard-earned sweat and blood of my wife and myself, and you wanted to steal our home. You are criminally mind. You've got a criminal mind. You are sick, and you need locked up for not only your own good, but for the rest of society. And every other banker, you need the same treatment if you do that to ordinary people. And this isn't just ordinary people. This is rich people, poor people. You will steal off them regardless. Okay, that was my rant, and I'm going to make a little plea as well at the end of this, because I was just an ordinary working bloke, ordinary working family. Now all you ordinary working families, like all my neighbours, now they're all woken up, they're doing research, they're looking on the internet, they're finding out why this happened to me. Well, it happened to me because I wasn't watching. We're all supposed to be awake, looking for dangers. I know we voted these people in, and I know we think that they're there for our good, but right now they're not. They're there for their own good and their friends, and there's very few of them. There's masses of us, and we can get rid of them. And this isn't anything political. This is survival. And they think they're the fittest. Okay, let's do them in numbers. But every one of you, if you do not believe what's happening, you're clever enough to look on the internet, into a library, get into the universities, look at the figures, check the lies, and you will be shocked. The courts are lying and cheating and thieving. The banks are telling absolute porkers right from the beginning to today. And Mr. Cameron, you preside over all this. You look at him next time, see if there's any changes, and if there isn't, don't vote for him. Don't vote for any of them. Let's see what happens if we stop voting. What will they do? There'll be no government. I think that might be a good thing, because the one we've got is hurting and taking the lives of people. Right, well, sign the petition and take care of your neighbours and friends. Bye.